So as I've said, my name is Carlie Thomas, project manager for Rescue and Response, currently working alongside 15 practitioners who have lived experience, who are trying to assist our young people to work their way out of county lines, to kind of remove themselves from CCE. So we're currently supporting 142 young people at the moment. And obviously I don't want to talk too much about my project. I'm always wanting to sing about my project, but obviously we've got a lot to discuss today. Oh, can people hear me? I can just see no sound. Sorry guys, sorry. Basically guys, I've worked on several county lines projects. I've been in this field for the last 6 years. And I feel terrified. I feel terrified of what is going on road right now for our young people, not just our young people, but our families and our communities. And for my frontline practitioners that are working on the Rescue and Response project, they have lived experience. Many of them have themselves been involved in county lines, and our practitioners are terrified as well, which is really bringing it home to me. For, you know, fully grown adults that have been involved in county lines before, they're telling me that they're not sure what is going on road right now for our young people. So guys, we need to work together collectively, and I will be discussing this throughout the short presentation as well. So the way that we work at St Giles across the project, like we work holistically, we're looking at a number of different issues that our young people are experiencing. We're looking at a lack of education, training and employment. We're looking at mental health issues. We're looking at substance misuse, family breakdown. We're looking at a whole host of issues, guys, because we are aware that our young people do not come with just the one issue. They come with a whole bag of them. Okay, and we're here to break down those issues. We're here to look at them, we're here to explore them, and we're here to provide some sort of understanding and advocate for our young people in getting to the place where they want to get to in life. So on this project, monumental challenges. Constantly we are faced with challenges. We don't know what we're going to wake up to the next day if we've lost a life, if we've lost a family member. Our caseworkers, some of them don't even know if they're going to lay their own head on pillow at night because there's so much risk on road right now. But I do have some good news, which I did want to touch upon before we kind of get going. And Rob, I'm looking at you, so just to keep an eye on time, all right? So in the last quarter, we are happy to report that 23 young people have entered employment. 12 young people are due to start college in September, with 4 young people in the process of looking at apprenticeships. Now, guys, when I say, you know, 23 young people have entered college, we know what's going on out there right now. I've got friends that are unemployed. I've got friends that are looking for employment throughout the last 15 months. And it's a struggle. So for our young people, with the correct support, the correct the motivation, the determination, the courage that our young people have, we're able to support them in getting to where they want to get to. And guys, I've got to be really frank and clear here. It's not about where we want them to get to. It's about where they want to get to. And why I love St Giles is because we really let our young people lead on our support package. We don't tell them, you need to be going to college in September, you need to be in employment. We let them lead. What do you want, young Johnny? You know, young Johnny tells me, Carlie, I want to work in JD Sports. Right then, we're going to sort this out. Or young Johnny wants to go to college. So it's about empowering our young people and allowing them to understand exactly what they're capable of at this point in their journey. Okay. Rob, I'm keeping an eye on you. So when we think about county lines and CCE, we think about intimidation, we think about debt bondage, we think about threats to life. But what happens prior to this? A lot happens prior to this. We're talking about coercion, we're talking about manipulation, we're talking about grooming. In fact, CCE often begins with kindness, acceptance, belief, and love, coming from those people that are trying to get our young people into a world that they absolutely know nothing about. They think they know because what they read in the paper, what they see in the YouTube videos, what they see on Snapchat. Quite frankly, our young people, they don't have an understanding. They're sold, you know, they're sold the dream made up of lies, the promise full of empty love. You know, all they think is that actually I can be a part of this world. I can make some money for mama. I can make some money for me. I can fit in. I can, you know, I can aspire to be like these people that I see on the telly and in the media. I can be like them. Now, they only know one part of the story. They don't know the full extent of what goes on in county lines. So, you know, for our young people, I know that when when it's about to get going, when they're about to hit the county areas, I know that they're suited and booted in their trackies, they've got their fresh trainers on, they've got their shotter bags, they've got their man bags, whatever we want to call them. They feel like they're going on a mini holiday, and they're going to come back with the £2,000, they're going to come back with the kudos, the status, and actually maybe they only need to do it the once, and then that will be it, you know. But we know it doesn't work like that for our young people. So our young person that's on the train is suited and booted, he's feeling good, he's feeling a little bit nervous. And I'm saying he, because we predominantly work with young men, but we do work side by side with other projects at St Giles and out of St Giles supporting young women and county lines as well. So do excuse me if I'm just referring to he the whole time. So a perfect example would be that our young man, our young person, hits the county area, hits the bando, cannot believe what they see when they walk in. You know, they are seeing disgustingness that some of us in our lifetime will never, ever, I hope, ever have to experience. So not only are they in this environment, not only is the phone going off every 2 minutes, not only are they in an area that they don't know, there's also risk coming to them. They don't know if the police are going to turn up at the door. They don't know if the ops are going to walk through the door. We know what's going to happen. We know what the general outcome will be, but our young people don't. So what we find with, I'd say, about 75% of our young people is they are set up. They're set up before they've even got on a train, before they've even hit the county area. They're set up by the same group of young people that have enticed them into this game. So before we know it, then we start talking about debt bondage. Then we start talking about trauma. We know, you know, the door suddenly goes off, the box of food is taken from the young person. Would you know what, mate? That's not my problem. That's your problem. You now owe £4,000 to the elder. Okay, whoever the elder is at this point, you now owe £4,000. So you're going to be here, you're going to be working for nothing, and you're going to do exactly what I'm telling you to do. So that's one element of it, guys. Like the, you know, the debt bondage, the fear that comes with this game, but we need to think about the trauma that what is going on for our young people. So, you know, what they're seeing in London is absolutely horrific. What they're seeing when they go to the county areas, what they're hearing. So they're in the bando, they're in the trap house. A young lady might come along suddenly. She hasn't got enough money for what she needs to be able to, you know, source her drugs to make her feel better. The next thing, she's in a room with somebody else next door. The young man can hear exactly what is going on for that young woman at this point. And I don't know if this is, you know, not the right tone, but, you know, for some of our young people, they're still virgins. They're not experienced in, you know, sexual relationships, and they're hearing this going on to a young woman next door. So guys, like, you know, they're having to deal with so much trauma, and I'm really aware that I'm going off track. I do apologize. I think I get so passionate sometimes, and it upsets me so much that I go off on a complete tangent. But guys, to talk about where we're at in terms of spaces as well. So we know for our young people, we know, you know, we read in the paper where they're being groomed. We heard chicken shops. Oh my gosh, that went on for a whole year, you know. They're being groomed outside chicken shops. They're being groomed outside pupil referral units, schools, community hubs. They're being groomed online. We have a massive problem with the percentage rate that has gone up with the young people that have been groomed online coming out of the pandemic. So before we were looking at around 40% of young people being groomed online. Now we're looking at 80%. This is enormous, and we can't control it. We're not in the room with the young person when they receive a notification, when they receive an invite on Snapchat or Marketplace on Facebook. And in fact, a caseworker came to me a couple of weeks ago and told me that one of his young people actually had been added to a new group on WhatsApp. So this group basically was a breeding ground for young people to kind of go off to county areas and be involved and running a line and apparently making some money. So the way it would work, whoever's running that actual group chat would throw out in the morning, "Hi guys, who's around today?" Obviously not in the language that I'm using, you know, "Who's around today? So-and-so, little Johnny, little David might rear up. Oh yeah, I'm around today." Boom, next one. Off you go then. So they're, you know, they're now entering this world that they know absolutely nothing about. And I think the terrifying thing is for us as practitioners, frontline practitioners, you know, anybody that actually has a heart, it's not just about practitioners. It's knowing and understanding what it is that our young people are going through and the risks that they are taking without even having an idea of the risks that they are taking. So every young person in my mind, and I think we, you know, I've really been thinking, and I got quite emotional about this morning. So every young person coming into contact with our project is dying to belong. And guys, when I say dying to belong, our young people are dying to belong. And that hits my heart. That upsets me, that our young people don't know where they fit in this society, so they're quite happy to lose their own lives. Our young people are desperate to fit in, be it financially, culturally, to fit in with the cool kids. Again, that's not the language that they use. This is my nana language, you know, to gain the acceptance. They've got low self-esteem, a lack of belief, a lack of self-regard. And like I've mentioned earlier, I've witnessed the most awful, awful situations, and trauma is rife. And we're talking about trauma that could have, you know, occurred within the family home. We're talking about domestic violence. We're talking about witnessing substance misuse issues. We're talking about not having money to put on the electric meter at night, or, you know, the gas to have a bath in the morning. Our young people, and this is also heartbreaking, they're not even sure that they're going to make it to certain milestones in life, certain ages. They're not even sure that they're going to make it to the age of 18. Now, the amount of phone calls that I've received in the last 6-7 years from parents, from young people that have said, oh my God, I'm 18, I've turned 18. Mums that cannot believe, that have called me an angel, which is hilarious, cannot believe that, you know, their son has made it to 18 years of age. They thought they'd be at the graveside, you know, saying happy birthday to their son. So this is a miracle. The work that we are doing is hard, it's painful. We know it's never ending, but we are getting the results and we are getting the outcomes. And the reason why we are getting these outcomes, guys, is because we listen and we hear and we believe in our young people. We're consistent with our support. We begin by rebuilding the young people. We encourage them, we advocate, and we empower. And like I said, we let the young person, we let them lead on the support plan. You know, we're not those statutory agencies that has to tick those boxes, that little Johnny has got back into college in 3 months. It doesn't work like that in this game. Each young person is an individual in themselves, just as we are. But we work in conjunction with the whole of the statutory network, and I couldn't be prouder, to be honest with you. And I'll touch upon them a little bit later, because I think that some of them are actually, and I'm hoping that we've got, you know, some of our statutory agency partners in the audience today, because I feel that some of you guys are being really let down as well by your, you know, head of departments when it comes to training, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And we also provide support to our families. So our families, you know, a lot of the blame goes on our families, guys. You know, we see in the media, we hear in the media, it's mum's fault, it's a lack of, you know, male role model. There is a lack of male role model for so many of our young people. You know, we're trying to stem that, we're trying to plug that, we can't, you know, we can't control who wants to stay in their child's life or who's not able to stay in their child's life. But the media, and I don't mean all of the media, we may have some in here today, but, you know, they're putting the blame on our parents. We've got parents out there, guys, that, you know, I can imagine, like, you know, the whole shameless concept, sitting on the estate, smoking fags, having a whiskey at 10 in the morning. These young people, they're not being looked after by our parents. Their parents, the majority of young people that I work with, that my team support, their parents are on a their parents are on a 0-hour contract. All right, they have got no financial stability. They've got, you know, they've got no, they don't know what their hours going to be from 1 week to the next. All right, they don't have any sick pay, they don't have any holiday pay, they don't have the things that you and I have in this meeting today. So we see our parents, they start work at 6 in the morning, they come home at 10 at night, just so they can put the food on the table, so they can look after their young person, their child. And of course, little Johnny, you know, what's little Johnny going to be doing? Well, he's not going to be sitting in the house waiting for mama to come home. You know, he wants to change mama's way of life as well. He wants to be able to provide and put the dinner on the table. You know, he's growing up far too quickly, basically. But mama is not asking him to do any of that. And a lot of our media, they will go down that road, you know, that parents are encouraging, that parents are asking their children to. Parents are sitting there night after night thinking, am I going to get a knock on the door saying that, you know, Johnny's died or somebody's killed Johnny? This is what we're dealing with right now, guys. And I think as well, I've got parents, you know, it's been crazy the last few years on the Rescue and Response Project, the amount of parents that we're supporting, that are social workers, mental health practitioners, that work around substance misuse, that sit in meetings, child protection meetings, statutory meetings, talking about young people, CCE and county lines, and boom, suddenly the shoe is on the other foot. And that is just as heartbreaking, because they don't know what to do, you know. So guys, this could actually happen to anybody, you know. Yet we do need to take in, you know, the financial constraints. We do need to think about poverty. We do need to think about ethnicity and where our young people are at, but we also need to think that this could happen to absolutely everybody. And, you know, somebody's just said the exploiters have no boundaries. Spot on, no boundaries. But also, guys, we need to think, so we think, oh, who's the exploiters? Oh, the 24-year-olds. No, that's not true, actually, guys. You know, I think we've got our people being groomed. They're 9 years of age, 13 years of age, 20 years of age, 30 years of age, 40 years of age. They've got one big daddy at the top who's not being exploited. And he's not necessarily having the best time either, because he doesn't know who's coming through that door at any point. Rob, how am I doing for time?
Carlie, I think, have you got 1 more minute? Just
one more minute, Rob, I've got so much to say. Okay, right, so guys,
points. Okay.
All right, and I wanted to touch upon the county lines model, a bit more on our families, but you know what I think is really important, and I think why we're here is what can we do for our young people, what are we doing? And I think it doesn't matter if we're just, you know, a professional, if we're the previous children's commissioner, it doesn't matter if we're the CEOs, it doesn't matter who we are. There's something that we can all be doing, and we have a duty and responsibility. So we need to continue to go above and beyond for our young people. If something doesn't seem right, call 101, call 999, follow your instincts, call the local authorities. We've got to fight this battle together, because we cannot do this by ourselves. And the minute we start thinking we can do it by ourselves, that's our egos talking. We can donate financially. I'm aware that not everybody has the money to donate financially, but you can donate your time. Each of us has a skill set which we can hand on. We can pass over our own skills and our traits to our young people. We can get involved in lots and lots of different organizations, do voluntary work. As professionals, we need to continue to upskill ourselves, our practice. We need to be professionally curious, okay? And we need to jump up and down until we receive the adequate training that we deserve in order to help our young people. At St Giles, we have amazing training. Okay, we go and you know, explore, we see what's out there, we research. But guys, for the statutory services, approach your head of services, approach your line manager, you know, tell them this is what we need in order to help our young people. And we need to look after our own well-being, guys, because without us being in tip-top shape, yeah, how on earth are we expected to help anybody else? And I think advocate, encourage, empower, be their voice until they can find their own voice, okay? And I think mainly we need to love harder. And that's what I'm going to end it on today, guys. We need to love harder, okay? Because our young people end this. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.